Joining me now is Republican Congressman Ken Buck of Colorado. Well, I keep saying this, but it's been a bit of a wild couple of days here in Washington. You've been at the center of a lot of it. So I want to start with just this news that we learned just in the last hour. You've been very clear about your frustration with Speaker McCarthy. If you had to vote right now, you're going to have to vote very soon on a motion to vacate. How would you vote?
Well, I don't, fortunately, because I want to hear what Kevin has to say. Kevin promised a number to conservatives when he was running for Speaker, $1.47 trillion. Then when he negotiated with President Biden the debt ceiling deal, he promised President Biden a $1.66 trillion deal. He has promised, for example, he criticized Nancy Pelosi for not holding a vote on an impeachment inquiry. And then he promised he would hold a vote on an impeachment inquiry. And then he announced an impeachment inquiry. He cannot be trusted. And I want to understand why he acts the way he does before I make a final decision on how to vote.
So what do you need to learn in the next 48 hours, though? Because the vote's going to be in 2 days. Is it a number on cuts he's willing to make? Is an end to the impeachment inquiry? What would it be?
Well, I want to know which one of his promises he's going to fulfill. If he's going to fulfill the $1.47 trillion promise, I'm interested in listening to more. He promised that we would do 12 separate appropriations bills by September 30th. We did one up until the week before September 30th, and then we got another 3 done on that week. So I want to know what his schedule is, and I want to know how he's going to fulfill his promises.
You're a bit of a fiscal hawk. I'm sure you won't mind me calling you that. It sounds like you're willing to give him a little bit more of a shot if he lays out a plan. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it sounds like what you're saying. But now he has 45 days or a little bit less at this point to get the rest of those 12 spending bills done. If he doesn't do that, are you going to rethink your support for him? That's been a thing you've been pretty strongly feeling about.
Well, I supported them through the 15-vote debacle at the beginning of the year. And it was because of the promises that he made that we would handle each of these appropriations bills separately. So, yeah, I want to hear what he has to say. 45 days is just the first CR, the first continuing resolution. There will be more. And if we can get 9 or 10 done in these 45 days and 1 or 2 left in 1 or 2 weeks, that's a great position to be in.
I know you're not going to give me names for alternatives. You've said it's not you. Ken Buck is not on the list. But have you discussed with any of your colleagues alternatives to Kevin McCarthy?
Oh, I think there are a number of alternatives. And no one wants to put their head up while Kevin is the speaker. No one wants to be the person who looks like they took him down. So they will rise. If this motion to vacate passes, you will start to see other names of people that come up. Obviously, Steve Scalise is the next in line. Steve has some health issues, but I think he has a huge amount of respect in the conference.
It sounds like regardless of how you're going to vote, you think that the motion to vacate could pass.
I do think it could pass. I think there are probably 10 to 15 hard yeses on the motion to vacate. I think there's another 5 or 6 people who are out there looking to see whether it's a close vote or not.
Now, another one of your colleagues, Matt Gaetz, there are reports not confirmed by NBC News that House Republican members are preparing a motion to expel Gaetz from the House if the Ethics Committee's investigation finds that he is guilty of the complaints filed against him. These are not reports from us. Is that a discussion? Are you aware of conversations about that?
I am not. I think that is an empty threat. I think that's one of those things that people bring up to distract from the real issue, which is Kevin McCarthy's credibility.
I want to ask you about Donald Trump because he was in a Manhattan courtroom today for his New York fraud trial. You previously said you would not support a convicted felon for the White House, something we coined the Ken Buck rule here. I don't know if you like that or not, but the judge in this case has already found that he committed fraud, just a matter of how much he's going to pay. Should that disqualify him from serving as president?
I don't know that a civil fraud case by itself does. I was talking about a criminal case. I do think that people need to look at the behavior of Donald Trump in determining whether he is the best candidate for president. I also think they need to look at the behavior of Hunter Biden to determine whether Joe Biden is the best candidate for president. But I think that overall, the criminal trials are going to be much more significant in people's minds than the civil fraud trial.
Well, there's significant differences between the two. But I do want to ask you before I let you go just about the threats that we've heard from Donald Trump, because the rhetoric and the language we've heard in the courtroom today, but also we've heard from him out on the campaign trail, we know that it's dangerous. The threats are increasing. Your colleague, Dan Goldman, said that he wished more people would be more outspoken about that. What do you say to that?
I was a prosecutor for 25 years, Jen. I take the threats very seriously. And I think that if you're innocent, you act like you're innocent. And if you want to be president of the United States again, You respect the rule of law, you respect the process, and you show people that we have a criminal justice system that is fair in this country.
Are you concerned about the rhetoric you're hearing from him outside of the trial, but the rhetoric you're hearing from him threatening not just judges, but elected officials, others around the country?
Yeah, I think it's immature. I think the president needs to do better when he is frustrated. Do what a lot of us do. Go into a room by yourself, yell for a little bit, and then come out and be the person that really personifies what we want in a leader in this country.
I wish more would speak out against that. Congressman Ken Buck, thank you so much for joining me here on set. You're from the great state of Colorado, where I have a lot of family.